Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another meal prep video. So in these videos, my hopes are to inspire and motivate you to meal prep for yourself and your family and possibly get out of the rut of making the same old things on keto, because keto could be fun and definitely interesting when you try out new recipes. So this week, I have two brand new recipes that I will be trying, so therefore there will be two recipes in my How Did It Taste video, and all of these recipes will be in the description box below. Also, if you guys meal prep any of the new recipes that I display on my YouTube channel, go over there and follow me on Instagram. I will have my Instagram link in the description box below as well. Go ahead and tag me and let me know what you think of these recipes. But let's jump right into this meal prep. So the first thing I'm going to prepare is I am just going to cut up some strawberries, and I like to soak my fruits and vegetables in vinegar water just to help get some of the bacteria off. So I just cut the ends off of the strawberries, I let them soak in that vinegar water, and then I do end up rinsing them with fresh water before I put them in the storage container. So I just put them in a storage container kind of like that, and then I put them in the fridge, and then they're nice and prepared so that way if people want a healthy snack, it is in the fridge. Next up, I always cook my boiled eggs in the Instant Pot. I throw 1 cup of water in the bottom, and I'm boiling 12 eggs this time. I just put it on egg. I did put them in for 4 minutes because last time I have the large eggs and 3 minutes was not enough, so I cooked them for 4 minutes this time. Then I let them sit in an ice bath for around 5 minutes. And most of the time I take the shells off of the eggs so that way it's nice and convenient for my family. But if I'm in a hurry, not even gonna lie, sometimes I let them fend for themselves. But they do peel so easily using that Instant Pot. So next up, I'm going to be making keto cheesy herb muffins, and I don't know what happened, but I thought I was recording the very first part of this, but apparently I was not. So we are going to take 6 tablespoons of butter. I did melt it in the microwave, as well as 1 teaspoon of granulated erythritol, 1 cup of almond flour, and that is what you see in my mixing bowl right there. Then I am also adding 3 tablespoons of coconut flour. Again, this recipe will be in the description box below, as well as 3/4 teaspoon of salt, a 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder, and now I'm just going to throw in 2 teaspoons of baking powder, as well as a 1/4 teaspoon of xanthan gum. And then I'm also adding some thyme to this recipe, as well as 2 eggs. Now it calls for a 1/3 cup of almond milk. I didn't have any almond milk, I ran out, so I used a 1/2 cup of heavy whipping cream, and then I also did the other half with water. Then I also put in a 1/2 cup of shredded cheese. Now I'm just going to put them into my cupcake liners. I did spray those. I know many of you guys are like, girl, you need to get some silicone cupcake liners. Yes, I do. That is on my list to get at Amazon. So I am going to preheat my oven to 375 degrees. And then it says to bake these around 22 minutes. I ended up having to bake mine around 25 minutes. But can I just tell you, when these things came out of the oven, they smelt mouth-watering delicious. So I have high hopes for this recipe. This will be in my How Did It Taste video. So next up, this is kind of a repeat. I've been kind of mixing it up between tuna and chicken salad almost every week. But this is really what Oscar has been wanting. So I'm just putting 1 can of tuna into this container, and I just kind of smash it up a little bit to get the chunks a little bit smaller. And then I'm going to throw 2 eggs into this tuna salad as well. If you guys haven't had eggs in your tuna salad, you're missing out. You really need to try it. It's so good. So Oscar loves avocado in his tuna and chicken salad as well, so I am going to throw in an avocado as well. But just a little disclaimer here, I would not make bulk amounts of this just because the avocado lasts maybe 2 days and then it starts to brown. So I'd just make it maybe a day or two ahead of time and you should be good. I'm also going to add a dollop of daisy because I think the sour cream and mayonnaise go well in tuna and chicken salad. So I did add some mayonnaise as well, and of course you got to add some salt. And then we are just going to give this a good stir, and that is one delicious protein fatty packed lunch. We are just going to give that a stir, and doesn't that look delicious? This is Oscar's favorite. Next up, I am just going to prepare some hamburgers and sausages. So these hamburgers I get at Winco, these are delicious. They are 1/3 patties, and when you cook these on the grill, they stay so juicy. And these sausages here I get at Costco, these are absolutely delicious as well. And I am just going to throw all of this on the grill. I'm just going to throw some of that Grill Mates Montreal steak seasoning on the burgers. And that is just an easy, simple, yet delicious meal prep right there. I love it because Arizona is finally starting to get to that weather where we can actually go out and grill, and we're not grilling ourselves out in the heat at the same time. I don't know about you guys, but that is just, again, mouth watering. So good. And we are coming up to the Carnivore Challenge week here soon. I don't know about you guys, but this will definitely be on that menu. Look how juicy those are. All right, next up, I am going to prepare some meatloaf. And I have in that bowl 3 pounds of ground beef. And I'm just using the ground beef that I got at Costco. So that is the lean kind. You don't have to use the lean kind if you don't want to, though. But I threw in there 3/4 cup of flaxseed, as well as some green chilies, the canned green chilies. I also threw in there some garlic, and then I used about 3/4 can of tomato paste. And then I'm throwing in there around 3 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce. I love putting Worcestershire sauce in my meatloaf. I think that makes it so flavorful. You could put onions too. My family just doesn't really care for the onions in meatloaf. I did throw in there 3 eggs as well as some Italian seasoning. I am going to throw in there some salt. I wanted to throw in there black pepper, but I'm out. I need to go to the store. As well as I did throw in there some of that Badia seasoning. That Badia seasoning just gives your meatloaf so much more flavor. It's delicious. And then obviously I just went in there with my hands, gave it a good mix. I did go ahead and spray I'm just using a casserole dish because it's 3 pounds of ground beef, that would take forever to cook. So I just kind of spread it out in a very untraditional meatloaf looking way in the casserole dish, because I find that when I put it in there like that and just spread it out, it cooks much faster. So that is what it looks like. Look at all those green chilies poking through. That is like green chili goodness right there, y'all. So I did preheat my oven to 350 degrees. And this took about 45 minutes to bake, and it came out perfect. It was absolutely delicious. And even though I did use the lean meat, you can see it still has plenty of good fat in there. And look at all those green chilies. I think anything with green chilies and jalapenos is absolutely fantastic. Next up, I'm going to be making a keto blueberry cheesecake almond bars. The original recipe said to use raspberries, which I really would have preferred, but my store did not have any raspberries in sight, so I opted out for blueberries. Either way, this is a brand new recipe. It will be in my How Did It Taste video, so again, high hopes, and I really hope that this turns out. But the first thing I am doing is I took a half a cup of butter, melted it in the microwave. Then I threw in a half a cup of granulated erythritol. I just used that monk fruit. And I whisked that together for a couple of minutes until it was nice and smooth. Then I added the 2 eggs, as well as 1 1/4 teaspoons of almond extract. And then I gave it another quick stir. And then we are going to add 1 cup of almond flour, and then we're going to mix that up really well as well. And that is going to be for the bottom layer, basically the almond layer of this recipe. And then I just lined a pan with parchment paper, and I'm just going to throw that bottom layer on the parchment paper, and I'm just going to smooth it out. Again, this recipe will be in the description box as well. Then once you get all that smoothed out, we are going to start making the cheesecake layer. So for the cheesecake layer, we are going to be using 8 ounces of softened cream cheese. So I measured my 8 ounces on my food scale. Then I just cut the cream cheese into smaller pieces, and I did microwave it just for a couple of seconds just to get it softened up pretty nicely. And I did throw in there 2 tablespoons of sour cream, as well as 1 egg, a half a teaspoon of vanilla, and I did throw in there 1/4 cup of erythritol. And then I just went in with my hand mixer and I mixed that until it was really smooth. So that way it would be kind of like a cheesecake layer, obviously. And I just went in with a spoon and kind of drizzled the cheesecake layer over the almond layer because I didn't want them to get too mixed together. And then for the third layer, we are going to do the blueberry layer. So I just threw these blueberries in a pan on medium heat. And you just want to cook them long enough to where they start breaking down and forming more of like a blueberry sauce. Then for the fourth layer is going to be the crumble layer. And we are going to add a half a cup of almond flour. And it says 1/4 cup of sucre and gold. I just used 1/4 cup of the Swerve brown sugar, as well as 4 tablespoons of butter and a pinch of salt. Then I just used a fork to mix that together, and then our blueberries are now done. I took the blueberries, I just took a spoon, put the blueberries over the cheesecake layer, and then the top of the spoon, I just kind of swirled it around in the cheesecake a little bit to even it out. And then we're just going to take that crumb layer and take little bitty pieces of that, and I just put it all over the top of it just like that. And even unbaked, that looks freaking bomb, y'all. So I preheated my oven to 325 degrees, and I did end up having to bake these for 60 minutes. So for an hour I baked these. The instructions calls for baking it for 45 to 60 minutes, but mine took the entire hour. But when I yanked these stinkers out of the oven, as you can tell, they smelt and looked delightful. Again, high hopes for this recipe. This will be in my How Did It Taste video, and the recipe will be in the description box. But again, I hope you guys found motivation and inspiration during this video to meal prep for yourself and your family. if you like this video, please smash that like button. And if you're not part of the Simply Misty family, please consider subscribing. And if you subscribe, don't forget to tap that bell so you can get notified whenever I upload a new video. But for now, I think that's all I have for you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I greatly appreciate every single one of you guys. And don't forget to go out there and make today even better than yesterday. And I will talk to you in my next video. Bye.
On my own, but I don't know why you hit the road, but you don't realize I won't look back when you're around. I won't think twice when